Assalamu alaikum. This is Yassmine Muhammad, and today's video is about lesson distance and size. You can find it in your textbook on pages 33 up to page 36. When you study this lesson, you need to focus on the following points. Number one, the words, phrases, and expressions related to distance. Number two, words, phrases, and expressions related to size. And number three, to focus on the exercises at the end of the lesson, and I have provided the key answers for the exercises. The lesson starts with some useful collocations related to distance. By collocation, we mean words, phrases, or expressions that go naturally together and are correctly used in certain contexts or situations. This is part A in your textbook. You have to you have to focus on the bold-faced words in the examples. These are the collocations related to distance. Some useful adjectives used to talk about distance or to describe the distance are considerable distance, long distance, short distance, commuting distance, walking distance. By considerable, it means quite long. So when you describe distance, a distance as long, you can say, or very long, you can say considerable. So considerable distance. Long distance, and the opposite of long is short. When you describe the distance you cover from work to home or vice versa, it's called commuting distance. And when you use the collocation or expression commuting distance, you have to use before commuting distance the preposition within. And when you describe the distance that you cover in any place, you say walking distance. So, and again, before walking distance, you have to use the preposition within. More adjectives related to talking about distance. When you describe a place as remote or distance, you can distant, you can say far off or far flung. So far off or far flung are adjectives which mean distant, بعيد. And the opposite of distant or far off or far flung is the adjective neighboring, مجاور, not far away. So you can say far off or far flung places, or neighboring town, neighboring country, neighboring area. Neighboring is the opposite of far off or far flung. You can also use the expression cover a distance of or travel a distance of when you want to mention the length that you have covered or traveled. You have to mention after a distance of or cover or travel a distance of, you have to mention the length covered. For example, we managed to cover a distance of 40 kilometers on our cycling tour. Cover a distance of means قطعنا مسافة كذا. After cover or travel a distance of, you have to mention the length. Another collocation, another useful collocation is at close range. At close range means near. For example, I have never seen a member of the royal family at such close range before. This means that I have seen one of the members of the royal family so close to me or so near to me in distance. I mean, يعني واحد شاف أحد أفراد العائلة المالكة عن قرب. So at close range means near or عن قرب. Next, the lesson moves to expressions, phrases, words related to size. When you talk about size, you can use one of the following adjectives. For instance, on your left-hand column, on your left-hand side, you can find the adjective low. You can use low with the nouns price or prices, low wages, or low level or levels. low بمعنى منخفض. Low prices أسعار منخفضة, low wages مرتبات منخفضة, low levels مستويات متدنية أو منخفضة. In these contexts you cannot use small instead of low. You have to stick to using low. ما تقدرش تستبدل low بsmall when you want to describe the size of the prices or wages or levels. Okay. As for the right hand side, you can find the adjective small. طبعا small is related to size. يعني طبعا أحد الصفات اللي بتشير إلى الحجم هي small. But small frequently appears with quantity or quantities, small numbers, small amount or amounts, small increase. Small quantity or quantities معناها كمية أو كميات منخفضة. أو قليلة. small numbers أعداد قليلة. small amount or amounts كمية أو كميات قليلة. small increase زيادة طفيفة. In these contexts you cannot replace small with little. You have to stick to using small. So you cannot say little quantity. You have to say small quantity. When talking about the size of a problem, whether a problem is a big problem or a small problem, it means it's a difficult problem to solve or an easy problem to solve. You can say the expression or the collocation on a large scale or on a small scale. على نطاق واسع أو على نطاق ضيق. And I have mentioned one example, like the second example. The UK has similar problems to the USA, but on a smaller scale. Also, you can use on a large scale or on a small scale to mention or to talk about the size of an object. حجم الشيء إذا كان واسع النطاق أو ضيق النطاق. Of course, you can say on a large scale or on a small scale, or you can use the comparative degree of both adjectives large and small. Of course, on a large scale is the opposite of on a small scale. Another adjective related to size is the adjective little. Little is used in different ways to talk about size. Little can be preceded by another adjective and followed by a noun in order to sound more friendly. يعني ممكن little بتستخدم بأشكال كتيرة قوي للتعبير عن الحجم. ممكن يسبقها صفة ويتبعها اسم. يعني لازم الإكسبريشن ده كده يبقى adjective قبل little وبعدين يتبعهم طبعا النون الموصوف. وبنستخدم الاكسبريشن ده when you want to sound more friendly، لما تكون عايز تبان انك عطوف وودود في كلامك. For instance, when you say poor little Joe، يعني لما تكون when you want to show empathy or when you want to show affection towards someone، لما تكون عايز توضح مدى تعاطفك أو مدى اهتمامك بالشخص، فتوصفه بأنه little الشخص ده اسم الشخص مثلا أو الشخص نفسه النون يعني. poor little Joe يعني جو الصغير المسكين، ده علشان تعبر عن مدى تعاطفك مع ضعفه مثلا. dear little dog، nice little room، ده علشان توضح your positive feelings towards something. يبقى إذا adjective plus little plus noun دي علشان to sound more friendly and to show positive feelings towards someone or something. But this expression or collocation is used in informal spoken English only. We are still with the adjective little when talking about size. Little alone without a preceding adjective can be used with a noun, and in this expression it means young. When you say little brother, it means not small brother, it means young brother. And of course, the opposite of little in this context is big, and it's used in this way in informal English. يعني أما تيجي توصف الشخص إنه صغير ليس من حيث الحجم لكن من حيث السن، فبنستخدم الادجكتيف little plus the noun. الأوبزيت من little في السياق ده هو big، فبدل ما نقول little brother يعني أخي الصغير في السن، أقول الأوبزيت منها big brother أخي الكبير في السن. Okay, so this is the second usage of little in relation to talking about size. Little and small can be used to describe nouns, but nouns that do not refer to people, nouns referring to objects, in order to mean that this object is not very important. يعني ممكن تستخدم little أو small علشان توصف بيهم اسم، والاسم ده لا يشير إلى أشخاص، يشير إلى أشياء، علشان توضح إن الشيء ده غير مهم، حجمه لا يهم، يعني مش من ناحية الحجم لكن من ناحية الأهمية، يعني حجمه من حيث الأهمية لا يهم. So for example, I have got a lot of little or small things to do. عندي مجموعة من الأشياء البسيطة اللي مش مهمة أوي، لكن you have to do them، لكن هم مش حاجات مهمة ضرورية urgent يعني. So this is another usage for little, but little here is equivalent to small. On the left hand side, you can find the collocation make someone look small. This expression is used when you want to show that someone is wrong in a way that makes them appear foolish. Make someone look small means إنك تحقر من الشخص، أو إنك تبين غلطه بس بطريقة تظهره على نحو مخزي، يعني كسف من الوضع. For example, he denied the rumor but the papers made him look small. يعني هو أنكر الإشاعة لكن الأدلة اللي ذكرتها الصحف خلته يبان صغير ضئيل الحجم. يعني قصدي بضئيل الحجم إنه it's used in an offensive way، يعني بتستخدم بطريقة فيها إهانة شوية للشخص. On the right hand side you can find another collocation. Make a small talk. Make a small talk يعني يجري حوار صغير أو ضئيل. يعني مش القصد انه من ناحية length of time taken in the conversation، مش من ناحية طول الوقت خلال المحادثة، لكن in relation to the topics discussed in the conversation، لكن من حيث الموضوعات اللي تم تغطيتها في المحادثة. يعني when you talk about unimportant subjects in a conversation, this is what it's meant to make a small talk. يعني if you start your conversation by talking about the weather, this is not a very important topic, so in this way you make a small talk. يعني زي ما for example مثلا example اللي عندك when we first met، لما اتقابلنا لأول مرة we made a small talk، أجرينا محادثة كده بسيطة ما فيهاش أي مناقشة لمواضيع مهمة. دي معنى collocation make a small talk. The difference between the adjectives fat and slim. Fat is the opposite of slim and both used to describe people generally. يعني احنا بنستخدم fat or slim علشان نوصف بيهم الناس. But sometimes fat and slim are collocated with objects, things. For instance, you can say fat book like in the image, or the opposite is a slim book like on the other image. So fat book يعني كتاب كبير الحجم. سليم بوك يعني كتاب رفيع الحجم زي النوت بوك بتاعتك. يبقى ما بتقولش فات بوك أو thin book، لا بتقول فات بوك and the opposite is a slim book. The adjectives plump and skinny or painfully skinny are used to describe the size of people. Now instead of using fat and thin or painfully thin, people try to use more polite words in referring to the size of people. يعني بدل ما أقول تخين ورفيع، دلوقتي اللغة الإنجليزية بتستخدم كلمات تبقى أكثر تأدبا في وصف حجم الناس. فدلوقتي بقت في الادجective plump like in the photos. These are plump persons, plump woman and plump man. The opposite is skinny person or skinny man or skinny woman. Of course, skinny equals painfully skinny, like the man appearing in the photo. At the end of the lesson, there are more collocations or expressions related to talking about size, and you have to memorize them very well. في نهاية الدرس يا جماعة بتلاقوا في مجموعة من الcollocations اللي ليها علاقة تاني بالحجم، ودي لازم تحفظها كويس وتعرف which words are used with which expressions. لازم تعرف أنهي كلمات اللي بتستخدم مع كل expression. So for instance, there is a great deal of. طبعا number one ما تقدرش تقول instead of great تحط large or big. You have to stick to a great deal of, not a large or big deal of. A great deal of is used with the word time. You can say a great deal of time, a great deal of money, energy, enthusiasm. Enthusiasm اللي هي الحماس. Major بمعنى رئيسي والopposite منها minor بمعنى تافه أو ضئيل. You can use these adjectives when talking about the noun difference, change, effect, difficulty, point, issue اللي هي مسألة أو أمر, factor, عامل. You can use the adjective tall when you talk about people. So you can say tall person, tall man, tall woman. When you use tall also with a tree, tall with the word building, for instance, tall tower, and so forth. The adjective high is used with nouns like high interest rate, معدل فايدة عالي, high heels, كعب عالي, high tide, high jump. So you have to memorize these collocations and expressions very carefully. The exercises following the lesson, you can find them at pages 35 and 36. There are 4 exercises, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I have attached the key answers for the exercises, so you can go through the exercises first and then check your answers with the key answers. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you found it useful.